The reason why you overeat isn't because you lack the sufficient willpower to control yourself and simply eat less food. It's the food that you're eating that is causing you to overeat and therefore get fat. I used to be the exact same way. Whenever I would eat certain foods, it would cause me to overeat all of the time, and it got me sick, fat, and unhealthy. But since then, whenever I've removed these foods from my diet and my life, I've regained my health, my control of my diet and how much I eat, and it has really revitalized my day-to-day experience, made me feel so much better. If you don't know me, my name is Keegan, and today I want to share with you how I overcame overeating and how you can do the same. All right, before we get into how we can stop overeating, firstly, we need to understand what causes overeating in the first place. Because if you don't know what causes it, then you can't really stop it, and you don't know why we should be stopping X, Y, or Z. Does that make sense? So let's go over the first few things. Junk food. Number one. This should be pretty obvious. I mean, junk food is literally designed by companies for you to overeat it. It's designed for it to be super ultra tasty, so you eat more of it. I mean, that's kind of their whole business model. You make super ultra tasty food, people buy more of it because it's, oh my God, it's so tasty. But it causes you to overeat, causes you to get fat, causes you to get all the downstream problems of being really fat. Does that make sense? So, I mean, this should be pretty obvious, but the two big components of junk food is they're super palatable and tasty. Yeah, it's super palatable, super tasty. Kind of on both ends of the spectrum there, right? Palatable, it feels good in your mouth. It's got the right texture. It has all of the right combinations of X, Y, and Z. And tasty is its flavor. It's got the, like the extra special artificial sweeteners in it. It's got all the sugar in it. It's got the right combination of like fat to sugar. And it's got all the good stuff in it that makes you want to have more and more and more. But that's not good, right? I think that should be pretty obvious. Junk food, no bueno, right? Highly palatable processed food, not a great play if you want to not overeat. If you're eating that stuff, we'll get into this in a little bit, but if you're eating that stuff, like, it's a recipe for overeating. But moving on to the next part, and this one, not a lot of people kind of realize, but this is what I've experienced in my life, and I think this could help a lot of people if they understood it. Carbohydrates. So some people, they can handle this fine, and they don't really have the same issues with carbohydrates. Okay, fine. Just quit cutting out junk food. You might be okay. But there's a big group of people, like myself included, that whenever they eat carbohydrates, this signal in their bodies just causes them to eat more food than they really should. And so I'm going to cover this kind of briefly. Whenever you eat carbohydrates, it all breaks down to sugar in your bloodstream, okay? Whenever your blood sugar goes up, your insulin also goes up, right? And so this is kind of the first thing that happens whenever you eat sugar. It's because whenever blood sugar gets too high, it's a toxic dose for your body. Your body doesn't want your blood sugar to be super high. And so your insulin will go up and push it out of the bloodstream to make sure you don't die from blood sugar poisoning, from glycation, which is whenever you have too much blood sugar and it starts binding to your cells, okay? That's the first thing, right? I mean, that's kind of a reason why you shouldn't be eating carbohydrates. But whenever your insulin goes up and then your blood sugar comes down because of that, you can have what's called reactive hypoglycemia. And that's just kind of a fancy word for, your blood sugar gets lowered after your insulin goes up, right? But whenever that happens, your blood sugar goes below the baseline that your body wants it at, as in the hypoglycemia, which means it's like too low, right? And then your brain sends a signal to your stomach and to your body telling you, eat food, have something so you don't die, because your parts of your body do run on glucose. And so if it gets too low because your insulin was high and it just shot this blood sugar right back down, crashed it, your body's going to go into a panic. So you're going to be hungry, have more food. That's number one. The second thing, even if you have like a slower glycemic thing or whatever. The second thing, whenever your insulin is raised, right? So maybe you don't run into that problem of like the sugar crashing down super high because it's like slower releasing or whatever, right? Okay, fine. Your insulin still goes up. And insulin, even though one of the main functions that it does is get blood sugar out of the bloodstream, it does like 100 other things in your body. It blocks the activity of leptin, which is a satiety hormone that your body makes whenever you are good on energy. Like if you have, a decent amount of fat stores, your body fat will make this leptin and it'll be like, yeah, it's a signal saying like, hey, we're good, we're full. And so whenever your brain is receiving that signal from leptin, it's saying like, oh, hey, we're full. You don't need to eat that much more food, we're good. But whenever your insulin is up and whenever it's elevated for a while, which what happens whenever you eat carbohydrates, it blocks that signal of leptin in your brain. So what happens? Well, you get extra hungry because your satiety is in there. Your brain isn't receiving that signal from your body saying, hey, we're good. It's receiving a signal like, hey, we're not good, because that signal is gone. It doesn't receive it, even though leptin is still out there. Your brain is like, hey, we need to eat more food. So that's the second one. And the third one is, well, sugar is just stimulating. It's ultra tasty in of itself. And remember how junk food in the beginning, that's palatable and tasty. But the taste, the ultra super sweet, the flavors and all that stuff, it's stimulating. It makes you want to eat more. It's ultra tasty. And so this is kind of the trifecta that carbohydrates affect our bodies with and cause us to overeat more food. Let's talk about what you can do to stop overeating. How can you fix overeating? Well, first things first, it should be pretty obvious. Don't eat junk food, right? I mean, it's kind of a duh. That should be pretty obvious. Don't eat junk food. There's really no reason to. Like, there's really no benefit to eating a ton of like sugary garbage, bunch of, treats and snacks. Like maybe for holidays and stuff, like I kind of understand that. But for most of your life, it's just not practical. So don't eat junk food. Don't eat, sweets and treats and snacks. You're going to live a better life, especially if you have trouble overeating. Like thinking like, oh, but if it's just a treat, like, but you tend to overeat. That's just not a good strategy long term, because you're going to have one, but you probably aren't just going to eat one, right? So it's just like, why would you even start yourself down that path in the first place? It's dumb. But moving on, beyond junk food, just eat less carbs. I think eat less carbs, less junk food. That's kind of like the baseline that's going to really, really help you out whenever it comes to this diet, or whenever it comes to stopping overeating. And what does that mean, though, is you're going to replace that carbs and those junk foods with whole foods that have fat and protein, which basically means you'll be getting onto a lower carb or a ketogenic diet. I personally do a ketogenic carnivore diet where I'm basically exclusively eating meat and animal products, but just kind of like lower carb in general is kind of what you'll be trending to if you follow this advice. And so if you want to get onto a ketogenic / carnivore diet, I've made a course for that, which is linked down in the description. It goes over how you can get onto a carnivore diet. It kind of is like the how-to, common pitfalls, and a bunch of other specific advice on how you can stick to this diet and quit junk food, even if you have cravings and you've had kind of a history of overeating. I'll walk you through everything in that course so you can stick to it and really experience the benefits. But yeah, that's kind of a quick plug. So go check that out. My next point is to really be aware of the food that you're eating, regardless of whatever it is. If you still want to be eating carbohydrates and junk food, okay, you're making it harder for yourself, but you can, if you're really mindful and aware and you're really dialed in on it, then this might work. But again, I would say it gets so much easier if you just eat less carbs, you eat less junk food. Like, it gets so much easier, like exponentially easier. But if you want to make it harder for yourself, okay. But another method that you can do is to just be really, really aware of the food that you're eating. Be mindful. Be mindful of how tasty it is. How palatable is it? How much do you want to eat it like after you're done? How much does it satisfy you? Be aware of these factors going into it and just take note a couple hours, a couple minutes after you're done eating, just so you can get kind of gauge like, okay, does this meal make me feel full? Does this meal, make me want to eat more? Does this satisfy me at all? And then you can make more meals tailored that are tailored to making you feel more satisfied, more full, and that make you feel the best long term. I think this is a good strategy because, like you find out what works for you really. And I think what you will find is, especially if you're anything like me, that you're just going to trend towards more of what I'm talking about already, where you eat more meat, you eat more nutritious things like meat, eggs, maybe vegetables if you want. Those sorts of things, you're probably going to trend towards those because those are nutritious, they're satisfying for a lot of people. Pay really close attention to the food that you're eating. Be mindful whenever you are eating. This is kind of the second point that I want to make on top of that. Be mindful whenever you're eating. Don't be scrolling on TikTok or Instagram or whatever whenever you're eating your food. Don't watch TV whenever you're eating your food. Be present. If you're eating dinner with your family, obviously stay off your phone, but be with your family. Talk for a little bit, eat some food, wait a little bit, like talk, right? Kind of just be really mindful with the food that you're eating, because I believe there was a study that they found whenever people are distracted whenever they're eating, they tend to eat more food. So if you're distracted, even if you're eating like the healthiest food in the world, you still might eat more than you should because you're not focused on what you're eating. You're just like off, like just like chewing on something, right? You're not actually there in the moment dissecting like, okay, does this taste good still? Is this like, should I even be eating this? You're not listening to your body anymore. And that's an important thing that you need to do is listen to your signals, listen to how your body responds to the food that you're eating. That feedback is so important to understand like, okay, should I be eating more of this or less of this? And how does that affect my body in kind of a longer term scale, right? Of like my body composition, my weight, how much muscle I'm building or fat I'm losing, etc. The final few points that I've got on how you can stop overeating is to get busy and to just go outside, bro. Touch grass, bro. It's kind of an annoying statement, but if you get busy and you have less time to eat food, if you have physically less time to put food in your mouth, you're going to be eating less food. Unless for that, if you give yourself 1 hour to eat food or whatever per day, you're just stuffing like a whole sleeve of Oreos down your mouth. Like, okay, you'll probably gain weight. But if you're busy, if you're out of the house, you're out being active, you're out with your friends doing activities, and you're having fun, you're not really going to think about food. Like you might actually come home at the end of the day and be like, oh, I forgot to eat, because you're going to be so busy and caught up with other things. Like you're not going to have time to overeat. And that's a great thing because you get a ton of stuff done, you have a great life, and you don't have the problem of overeating. So it's really important that you get out, you get busy, you do other things that distract you away from food. A lot of people, what they'll do whenever they're bored, they'll open up the fridge and look around, or they'll open up the pantry and look around. And that's an issue, because if you want to stop overeating and stop snacking all the time every day, like either you break that habit and you just do something else whenever you're bored, or you just don't be bored and you do something with your life. And I don't mean to say that insultingly, but go outside, do something different that gets you out of the environment that causes you to overeat. Kind of another point onto that is have fun with other things. Again, with being bored, people will eat food for entertainment. And in some cases, that's fine if you want to, be with your friends and have some pizza or whatever, and, you're like rocking it out and you're having some, you're at the Christmas party or whatever and you have some cookies. Like, okay, I can totally understand that, right? That's vibes. But 99% of the time, the food that you eat should be utility, because you are what you eat. I mean, you've probably heard that over and over again. You are what you eat. And if you eat a bunch of garbage all the time just for fun, you're going to end up regretting it later on in life. So eat for utility, not entertainment. And I'm not saying you need to make your meals super boring. Like I was saying before, whenever you eat like a ketogenic carnivore diet, your meals will be satiating. But another thing about those is like meat tastes good, especially if you're like genuinely actually hungry. And you can do all sorts of things with that, whether it's spices or salt or the way you cook it. Maybe you smoke a brisket or whatever. There's lots of ways that you can do it to make it taste absolutely delicious, but it's not going to destroy your health. But whenever you're eating these fun foods for fun all of the time, like I said, you're going to regret it. So make sure you're eating for utility and not entertainment. Have fun with other things. Go out with your friends. Experience life. Go on a run. I mean, that's kind of fun for me. I'm like a masochistic weirdo or whatever, but but I like to work out, right? But do something that you enjoy that doesn't have to do with food. That's what I'm trying to say. And the final thing that I'll talk about is stress management. So some people, they'll kind of have their vice or whatever whenever they're stressed out or they're just not feeling super happy. They'll go to eating something for comfort. I used to do this a little bit where I would be unhappy and I would just kind of be eating something sweet just to try and forget about it. And that is not a healthy way of coping with stress, let me tell you. Sure, it might taste good, like, so good. But you are going to pay for it, okay? So find other ways to relieve your stress. What I do now is I exercise like a maniac, right? I just like, I run away from my problems instead of trying to eat away my problems, okay? So just find something that's a healthier outlet to de-stress, whether it's, I don't know, watching YouTube or whatever, whether it's drinking water, whether it's going outside for a walk in nature. That kind of does a lot of the good things for you, and it can de-stress you. So just like I was saying, find something fun that you can be entertained by, get busy, do something that's useful to your life, that gets you away from food, and de-stress yourself. Make sure you're not stressed out all the time, and decouple stress eating into something else. Make it, you go for a walk whenever you're stressed out. Make it you go for a run, or you go to the gym. Or you have some other outlet that benefits your life instead of making it worse, like eating junk food. So that's all I got for you. I hope this video was helpful, because I definitely could have used something like this whenever I was younger. So yeah, I truly hope that this helps you out and you can quit overeating from this. Like I said a little bit earlier, if you want to get on a ketogenic carnivore diet, which I truly believe will help you stop overeating and get you on a track to a healthier and happier life, I've made a course for that down in the description. It'll go over how you can start it, how you can stick to it, and be like a 30-day roadmap or so, along with some motivation and some modules on how you can actually adhere to the diet best. So yeah, if you like what I'm saying and you want to try that out, first link in the description. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.